So this is everything that's going on right now. Hidden occult practices, hidden knowledge that have wrapped itself up in Christianity. I don't have an answer to what you do about that. I don't think that you can do a whole lot about it, except the people themselves have to recognize it to stay away from it. There's the Holy Spirit that the Bible talks about, and that takes that into a whole other crazy realm here, which is what this chanting of the name is all about. And I'm not talking about Jesus' name. You know what name that they're currently wanting everybody to say. There's a reason. And there's the reason the left did it. There's a reason the right's doing it. And I hate even saying left and right at this point. It's radicalism. And the thing is, for those that think Christian nationalism is the answer, you're still going to have these Christian denominations that are cults. They are. Most people, we just stay away from them. That's what we do. Most people. It's like that's what they do, but forever we've said that, the Catholic Church, although I wouldn't say necessarily, well, it's a cult in the sense of the Mary mantra, the Hail Mary. And there's nothing you can do about it. The worst thing is, it's not so much that we have other religious people that practice other religions. It's the ones that claim that they're Christian and they're not. And yet all you can do is call it out, but people haven't for years. It's like, well, if they just do their thing and we do our thing, then it's not a problem, right? I think most people would agree, like, is that, you do you kind of thing. Because there is nothing, you can't go to war with it. That's been tried, most especially with the Protestants and the Catholics back in the medieval days. Okay? All you can do is call it out. And some people would say you shouldn't even do that because then it just gets people angry. But we've done for decades and decades and decades now, we've come to accept everything. And now the problem is many of these denominations in Christianity have merged, and many of them that have their occult practices have merged together, and now they want this Christian nationalism under. The only way that this country would ever truly be just Christian is when Jesus returns, and he will be setting a whole new, law down with that. But that would be, a separate thing that's talked about in the Bible. So I don't know what the answer to this is. I really don't, because you can't go to war against it. All you can do on a personal level is stay away from it. But this is all in the universities with your different secret societies. So there's that. But it's also in the denominations. Like I said, I've been saying recently, the denominations of Christianity have become worldly. That's what Charlie Kirk was serving. I mean, he had no background at all in being any kind of pastor. Somebody was feeding him everything that he was saying. I mean, he definitely had a handler. Because for them to put him on some pedestal like they did, that's to true Christians like me, whatever that was that they called a memorial. No, it was about raising vibration and mantras, what they especially go after. It all ties to the same stuff, stuff I've looked into before in my years, walking with God, and yet it always ends up dead ends for me, thank God. Because again, my go-to is always Jesus. But I would use meditation practices is what I'm saying. So the repetition of specific divine names and archangelic names aims to draw and circulate spiritual energy, ultimately expanding one's aura and invoking the divine presence. In general, vibrational practices in Western occultism revolve around chanting or vibrating sacred names or words to consciously tune into spiritual frequencies or forces. And when I see the word frequency and energy and I always think of what God referred to the wicked one as. He said he's the prince of darkness, the prince of the air. It reminds me of the airwaves, you know, how your TV comes into you and this whole frequency vibration thing. These practices combine vocalization with visualization and physical projection. Western occultists use mantras and vibration in rituals and powerful tools to raise and project spiritual energy, alter consciousness, and manifest specific magical outcomes. Mantras, often words of power or sacred names, are repeated vocally or silently to concentrate the vibrations within oneself or send them outward in invocations, blessings, curses, or commands. The vibrations generated by mantras are believed to penetrate the material realm and draw power from occult or spiritual planes, facilitating altered states or trance that lead to spirit possession or ritual efficacy. Now just think of all of the people that after Charlie Kirk died were saying things like, I don't know why I have this overwhelming, horrible feeling. Well, I mean, some of that is because of the trauma of that happening, which the occult likes that. Then they draw on it. I mean, did you see the amount of energy and the fire? And they would say it was the fire of the gospel. No, at that memorial, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was something else. It immediately, God just, like, God is usually, you know, it's not a voice I hear, but God is usually very gentle when I usually say he nudges you. With that, especially when Stephen Miller got up there, it was like God was pushing me. It was very, I mean, it caused me to react. I'm like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you people doing right now? The vibrational aspect of chanting mantras in Western occult rituals is combined with visualization, ritual gestures, drumming, incense, and candlelight to create an immersive spiritual atmosphere. Look at all of the pyro that was going on there. The music and all of it was all the same thing. The repetition of sound vibration acts both as a psychic amplifier internally and a spiritual transmitter externally. This can induce a sweet madness or trance-like ecstasy needed to fully receive the presence or power of the deity or spirit invoked, which is why Jesus said to test the spirits, okay? This is why all of this is talked about in the Bible. You know, test the spirits. Mantras target specific spiritual centers or energy flows, and the power of the mantra is understood to come both from the sound itself and its internalized divine or magical essence. In summary, mantra and vibration in Western occult rituals function as vibrational keys to spiritual realms, manifesting invisible energies, invoking deities, and transforming consciousness, which are essential for accomplishing magical objectives and spiritual illumination. So that is what that was all about. It gets confusing, I know, for people, because people so quickly forget that what you're dealing with is really, it's not a radical left. It's a radical left. It's evil. That is what you're dealing with. There are some religions, like, you know, Hinduism does this. They have their deities and they do it because it's part of their religion. Okay? You could draw on that, but that's taking from all of those different religions and then creating this what I would say that I've seen a lot of people refer to it as is Christ consciousness. Yeah, no, stay away from it. That there's a reason that for real Christians, that memorial was something that was not what I've always known a memorial to be about.